Hello and welcome to Outdoors and Nat. Today we are reviewing a Wilderness Equipment Second Arrow tent. This is a 2-man tent, 5 seasons. It's a really good tent and totally bomb-proof in all weather conditions. So let's run through how to set it up and then some of its features. One of the things I really like about this tent is the setup is super easy. So there's a long pole and a short pole, and then because the inner is attached to the outer all the time, you can set it up in the rain like that and you're not getting water on the inside of your tent. Then you just need to peg out the small side and then prop up the end, go around to the front side, pull that out so it's nice and tight, and then peg that in and your tent is set up. The version which I've got here is the older version, and the new version is a little bit lighter and a little bit larger overall. Alright, so here we have a Wilderness Equipment Second Arrow, and I've had this tent for nearly 10 years. It's had a lot of use, and one of the things that's starting to happen is that the UV on this tent has started to degrade the fly, and so it's getting pretty fragile. It's getting ripped up a bit, so I don't use it that much anymore, but it has been a really great tent over its lifetime. So it's a tunnel tent, so we've got 2 hoops, and then we have to have a peg out this side and our pegs out this side to extend it and put it up, and you saw that in the little time lapse. Then we've got additional guy lines for support on either side, and this tent works on a kind of flex system, so it should be able to flex around, and it's got bungee cords in all of the attachments for the guy lines. This tent is a 2-person tent, a little bit tight on the 2-person side, and if we jump in the entry here, we can see the inside look. This inner is all attached through little bungee loops to the outside, so you can pitch it as just the outer, but you can't pitch it as just the inner. And the poles are living through a little pocket which is in the outside of the fly, and then they've got a little foot just in here where the pole is sitting into. This tent has really good ventilation front and back. It has a full thickness inner, so it can be quite warm in the summer, but it is a 5-season tent, so it's been wind tested and can survive in the snow conditions as well. It's got really good wind resistance due to its shape, especially if you pitch the smaller side into the wind, then it goes really well in high wind situations. So it can have a full mesh on this side, and then it's got double zips on here, and I'll just open this up slightly differently. So on the front side here, it's got 2 sets of zips, and I spent a lot of time, especially in the warm months, with this big ventilation gap here, and because this overhangs, then you don't get moisture or rain in there, and you can have that quite open. And if it's really warm and sunny, you can have the whole front side of the tent open up like this, and the same on the back side. So I nearly always have this piece open to get the ventilation, but then you can unzip this all the way. You can get really good through flow of air on this tent like that. So absolutely love it. The new ones are slightly bigger. They've increased the pole size by about 10 centimeters on both ends, so the overall it is a little bit larger, and I think that's a good thing because this one's fairly compact for 2 people, but it's manageable. So the only drawback to this tent that's been a real problem is when you're sliding the poles through, it tends to nick this outer layer of fabric, and so that has become pretty weak in there. And then because this one's pretty old, you can see all the tape on the seam ceiling is disintegrating, and to be honest, this outer fly is also disintegrating. This tent is about 10 years old, so it's not surprising that this outer is degrading, and it's had probably well over 400 nights of use, I'd say. The floor material in this tent is really sturdy, and I've never had a problem with it leaking. I've never even had a hole in the floor, and I've never used a ground sheet underneath it. Camped in all sorts of conditions, so the floor is really sturdy, still really waterproof, and has its PU backing on there, and it's got this nice thick nylon on the outside, so it does contribute to the weight a little bit, but it's really sturdy as a floor. Got a little vestibule up the front, perfect for putting your pack in as well, and there's a tiny spot down the feet end On the inside, as I mentioned, it's not the hugest tent, but there is enough space for 2 people without too much trouble. So thanks for watching Outdoors with Nat. Hope you like this review of this tent, and check out my other videos and gear reviews over there. So have a great outdoor adventure.